Yeah, one of my girlfriends was out getting coffee and a gentleman, a very nice young man, went up to her and just like tried to introduce himself to just create that like moment of connection and ask her out. And she was just like, it was the creepiest thing. Meanwhile, she has these strangers that are on social media going into her DMs and she thinks that's fine. I was like, what about that is creepy? If you're not interested or you don't feel anything, then you can say no. And then it can get creepy if there's like a boundary being crossed. But an initial, like just initiating, I think is fine. And what I try to explain to my girlfriends that are on these dating apps and they're just doing like, you have to be at least 6 foot. You have to look successful, like all of these like very superficial parameters. Like when you're doing that and not meeting someone in person, you're not accounting for like pheromone exchange and like what your body is telling you. Like, is this a proper match or not? Because there might be somebody that you would online see like that's not the guy for me. But when you're in front of him, like there is that connection because we don't really know what drives attraction. There's a huge X factor in that.
How many of them have a 6 foot cutoff? Out of curiosity.
Oh, all of my girlfriends.
Oh, really?
Like everybody. Yeah, even like the
Wow.
short ones. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. You're 5 foot. Why do you need a six
Yeah.
foot guy? That doesn't even make
But
sense.
do they even know how to perceive what is 6 feet? Is the thing.
Probably
Because
not.
yeah, I feel like a lot of them say that, but then when they're if a 5'3" girl is standing beside a guy who's 5'10.5", she's like, oh, he could
But
say he's yeah.
but you'll see guys that are it's like poor guys. They're honest on these apps. So they'll say 5'11" or 5'10", and I kid you not, I have had my girlfriend say, "But he's only 5'10". But he's only
Mm,
5'11". I'm like, "That's 1 inch. What are you
yeah, yeah.
talking? This could be the love of your life, and you're not gonna go meet him over 1 inch." So I think men, if you're listening, just put 6 foot because women don't know what they
Yeah.
want.
Do the apps force you to put a height now, or is it just in their bio they proactively put it to try and
I don't know if
distinguish
they
themselves
force
from
it.
the
Yeah, it might
okay.
be just, like, listed and the guys just think that they might have to answer it. I could be wrong. I haven't been on one of those in a long
Yeah.
time, but
Like it's a good idea if you are 6 feet to put in your bio, but I mean, if I wasn't sure if that was like a mandatory input now.
oh, maybe it is, who knows?
That'd be intense. Have you seen those limb lengthening surgeries?
Oh my god. I
Yeah.
saw a video and I wish that there was a disclaimer, but it's just auto played and it was this guy going through recovery and he had these brackets and you saw the scars and the bolts and I'm for what? What do you like, do you know how many inches you can gain from that?
Quite a bit, actually. I was
Really?
shocked myself. Yeah, these individuals they go get these screws put into their. I have to look into it more, but it's more. They basically like micro adjust their bones by the day until they have gained upwards of. Like you can go however far you want, and the extent of your recovery and rehabilitation capacity is obviously hindered the more you go. But I've seen one guy that I saw that I might make a video on because this is crazy. He's a bodybuilder and he was 6 feet when he went in, and he got increased to 6'6". And it's like,
Oh
what are you
my
doing? Yeah,
why?
I don't know. Just wants to be 6'6" as tall as possible, I guess. But
So is that strictly below the knee or can are they going above the knee as well?
I think it depends on the situation, but I have to look into it more. But yeah, I think there's a choice between if you do both or not, and it depends on how many inches you want, or
Mhm.
perhaps like I don't know your proportions or something. I think it kind of depends, but yeah, it's kind of sketchy because I've seen these people trying to walk after, and maybe I just haven't followed it enough to see somebody who's successfully athletic afterwards, but the current people that have kind of popped off on social media from the virality of it all, they're just like hobbling around at best case scenario, seemingly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I guarantee your ability to walk is gonna be more important than your height. And then if you're doing it disproportionately, which maybe they're not, but it seems like there could be a lot of mistakes that could happen. Like we all have different like skeletal structures. So
Mhm.
by making that change there, there's gonna be like a second and third order consequence you would imagine, like on your hips and your back and your shoulders. And I used to ride horses and we had like this saddle master. Like the guy is just like a human engineer. Like he sees people like parts and he can tell you your body type and where he thinks it originated from and like the advantages and disadvantages of it and how you how you balance all of that, and he takes all of that into account when he's making a saddle for you. So it's like if you were like he would even talk about your shin length in comparison to your torso and what that meant. And I just think back to him, and if you were to just make those small adjustments, he would even talk about girls that are getting like their butts done or their boobs done, and he's like that has a huge effect down the line because your frame is not meant for those things. Like that's a certain type of body type with girls that are built that way. So I'd imagine that chopping your legs up like that is not going to be good for you down the road.
No, it looks like they have to like relearn how to walk essentially. Like, it's not even just that their legs are messed up, they also their movement patterns and their muscle memory for how they even take each step. It looks like they're, a toddler again essentially, which is nuts.